Hello and welcome back with me, Admiral. Welcome back to the bridge. So, joining me on Star Trek Fleet Command, as always. Today's episode is going to be mainly about the territory research tree, tech tree, research tree, doesn't really matter what you call it. So we're going to be talking about that, what you should sort of try and focus on, what the essentials are. You should definitely 1000% focus on. And then how to get, obviously, the materials you need to do this type of research. Unfortunately, a lot of players might not be able to do it due to the fact that you need certain research, or you need certain things to be able to research it. And we'll talk about that as we go through. I just want to put out there, since I normally do it at the end, but I'm going to do it at the start today. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to give the video a thumbs up and try and always comment anything on the comments. It doesn't really matter whether it's related to the video or not. Just comment anything. It just helps the algorithm find the videos better, and it shows that YouTube that you like the video as well. So just comment anything you want. It could be just comment Star Trek itself, and that's all that I ask for. And obviously, if you don't mind as well, if you are enjoying the content you're seeing so far, hit that subscribe button as well. That always helps me out as well. Other than that, let's dive straight in. So we got the first line, or first group, I would say, which is pretty much this cluster here, the first 9 research clusters. These are sort of the first cluster to focus on. We've got some new additions in this as well. So we'll talk about the new additions as we go through. So as you can see here, you start off with warp coil enhancement, which is, again, you know what I'm going to say with regards to warping around the map. Get it done. Get it to the highest you can get it, as it will just benefit you in the long run. The materials you need are these quantum particles, and you're going to need some phantom particles as well. It's not that expensive, so just get it done. The main thing you're going to need, obviously, is the ISO emulsion, which I'll discuss how to get that in a minute. Or certainly near the end, so make sure you look out towards the end of the video, because we'll discuss how to get that at the end. And then, yeah, it costs a little bit of research and a little bit of dill, in this case, or materials. And then, obviously, it takes however many days. The ISO 1 extraction, this is something that you definitely should be getting, because ISO 1 gives you the most ISO emulsion overall. It does have a counter to that, is the fact that it takes the longest to mine. However, it does refine at a sort of weird different rate, so just bear that in mind. But this is a very good research to get, to be able to do what I'm going to be talking about, to get the ISO emulsion. And then the meridian, you don't need to focus on this too much, because the protected cargo is pretty diabolical, but I'm sort of hindering on to try and get it maxed out if I can, just to get that protected cargo, just because this does mine incredibly fast in comparison to the other ships, and the fact that it doesn't cost too much to get it the bonus cargo, protection cargo. So I thought I'd put a bit of research into this, but this one is definitely not a necessary thing, and you can skip this if you really wanted to. And then you go to prime protected cargo. This is, again, incredibly good, because it gets that 100% bonus. However, you need these, obviously, prime particles, and you can only get them in the store, as I believe. You can only get them in the store, so that is something that you need to purchase. However, it is very good, and it's for every single survey ship. You get 100% to protected cargo for all ships. So, again, it's very, very good to have. But that's providing you want to spend the money on the game. That's all. I'm going to leave it with that one. And then flanking that, you got enhanced piercing and enhanced defenses. These are also pretty decent stats to have. So increased all piercing stats against shield piercing, accuracy, and armor piercing. This is just good to have against PvP players or even PvE. And same with this one, increased all defense stats. So dodge, shield deflection, and armor. So again, these are just 2 things that you should just upgrade as and when you can. Not a priority overly, but they are very good things to be able to focus on and to have overall. Then you got officer conditioning. Again, this is incredibly powerful. Try and get this maxed as soon as you can get it maxed, or as soon as you can research the next level. Get the next level researched, as it directly impacts your attack defense and health of all your officers, which obviously massively benefit you in the game. This is probably the most important research to do so far in this tree. But it's not the most important overall, so just bear that in mind. But it's the most important free research that you can do for the ISO emotion, because you don't need any of the weird particles that you need here. This is probably the one to focus on the most. Moving on, you got ISO charged. I haven't done this at all, but if you would PvP, increase damage dealt in PvP whilst defending. So this is, again, it's good if you're a defending person. Bear in mind though, it does need ISO resin, not ISO emotion. So just bear that in mind. It is slightly different. And you can only get ISO resin if you have a meridian. And you can get it from the refinery. So just thought I'd point that out. But it's PvP only. And then you got hostile tactics. Again, these are all free now. As well, without the particle research. So increase damage against hostiles, which is all hostiles in the game, not including PvP, I believe. So it's just PvE entities, but it's all form of hostiles, no matter what they are. And this is, again, incredibly good because it allows you to just hit up a lot harder than you should be able to for whatever level or tier you are in the game. So it's very good to get overall. Armada tactics. Again, if you do a lot of armadas and stuff like that, this one I wouldn't say was overly necessary, because a lot of the times you can sort of lean on your alliance members, especially the alliance members that have the bigger and more powerful ships. So this one isn't necessarily like overly needed, but obviously if you want to go solo on a lot of stuff, again, this is very useful. But not necessary, in my opinion. It's just necessary to get other things upgraded to a higher level. That's the only thing with that one. Then you got cargo security. This one, to be honest, I've been slacking a little bit because I've been focusing on other trees at the moment. But I'm coming around to the territory tree now, and I am focusing more on the territory tree for the next month. That's my goal anyway, for the next month, to focus on the territory tree. This one will definitely be getting upgraded because, again, this protected cargo for all ships is increased, is massively important. And you definitely need to get this done because protection cargo is pretty much everything in the game. The more you can protect, the better. Even if you get hit, you're not going to lose anything. So the better it is for you overall. So get that done. And then through scanning as well. This depends how fast you want to basically increase the level of your ship. Because as it says here, increase ship XP and from combat. So if you want to level your ships up, certainly at the later game when the ships are probably above level 30 and beyond, it does take quite a while to level them up. So this can be advantageous to get, as it does bonus. Obviously it gives you the bonus. Obviously use captains such as Pike, and then use Goon as well as the XP boosts they give. And obviously this also helps that as well. And then moving on, you got flanked ISO charge, which is, again, ISO resin, increases max cargo for survey ships. And then the other one is increases damage when attacking or defending mining nodes and capture nodes. Again, resin. Moving on to the middle, you got ISO 2 extraction. To be honest, these are... It's the extraction ones, I would say they're down to you as a personal choice. I wouldn't put them above certainly some of the other researches that are in this tree, but these are definitely useful because you can mine faster. Obviously, the faster you can mine, the more you get, the more you can refine. So it's up to you how you do it and how you work it, but I wouldn't put these above some of the other research. Moving on to the most important research in the game, hands down, and probably the most impactful, is these three here. As you can see, I'm upgrading my next one for the efficient ship upgrades. And to be honest, I'm going to show you what this does on camera right now. So this is going to, I believe, into level 5, which will be a 20, it's either 21 or 25% boost, and I'll show you what that does right this second. So this is going to be, this is probably, like I say, single-handedly the most important research you can get in this tree, bar none. Just due to the fact of what it can do. What we're going to do is we're going to switch over to the Enterprise for this showcase, and I'm going to show you what it can do. So as you can see here, 2,205 per weapon of obviously gas, and that's the same for all of these, 2,200, and then that was slightly less, 2,205. And then if you go to my my auger needs, I believe, just over 4,000. I don't care that I wasted that there. So I believe the last weapon takes 4,008, and then I'm going to boost this now. So that is the efficiency ship. Again, I'm not really bothered as we have a butt ton of these, so I'm just going to use a load to get it done. Don't care that I'm wasting stuff. And then we're going to go into this now and we'll see what it does. So when we click upgrade, we had 4,008. That's now down to 3,889. So that's taken off 120 uncommons needed. That's just on obviously the one that's the highest. It still took it off the crystal, but I didn't notice what that was prior to that. But you can see how much this takes off. It is incredibly powerful, and if you want to upgrade ships to the highest of levels, this is a research that you 1000% need to get. I need to get it upgraded to as much as humanly possible, as fast as you can upgrade it. And going to the Enterprise, this was 2,205. It's gone down to 2,137, so it's gone down by about 70, or just under 70 per weapon, which is again incredibly good, because obviously 3 weapons, that's 210 that I now don't need, plus whatever it took off this, probably about 50, say. I don't actually know, can't remember. So you're looking at about 300 altogether of uncommon gas that I now don't need to get just to upgrade this to the tier 5. So just bear that in mind. It's probably the most powerful research that you can get in the game, in my opinion. And that goes for all 3 of them. All 3 are incredibly good. This one's obviously to do with research, and this one's obviously to do with construction. I am a little bit far behind with them two in comparison to the ship one, because the ship one, in my opinion, is the most important. And like I say, you get that 25%, and you need to get this to as high as you can for whatever ops level you are every single time. It's going to help you out more than anything else. And then you move on to more generic research, which is all very good, but just do what you need to do, depending on what obviously ship class you have, what you're using mainly as a priority, and obviously just work your way through it, and then focus on whichever branch you need to focus on. And then you get Territory Challenger, and then you get ISO 3. Again, exactly the same scenario as before. Do what you need to do with the ISO extraction stuff. Impulse stuff can be useful. It can increase obviously your speed of the ship in a system. So if you are going to do hit and run tactics on a lot of PvP players, can be incredibly useful, or alternatively useful to run away from other people as well, if you need to do that as well. And then you're coming on to repairs. These again, this is why I'm trying to focus on this tree, because these are very important. It decreases the cost of the repair cost for all types of ships. However, just bear in mind they are quite expensive when it comes to the ISO emotion. As you can see here, this one's 34,000 just to get to level 2, so they are quite expensive. The later, obviously, the further up you go. And then you get to expert repairs, which decreases the time that obviously the ship is getting repaired as well. And then you have obviously advanced research on the top, construction on the bottom, and then you get basically to the end 3, which is hull stability, which is going to increase all hull health is increased for all ships, weapons is increased for all ships, and shields is increased for all ships. Pretty generic stuff. Optimized ship upgrades is also another good one to go for, as it increases the cost efficiency of par steel, trit, and dill for all ship components. So it will decrease the amount of titanium you need for components on a ship, which obviously can be incredibly useful to get. So this is something, like as I've already stated, I'm trying to work on this tree at the moment to try and get things up to where I think they should be, certainly for my level, and so that I don't fall behind in the future. The ISO emotion is the hardest thing to get. The way to get that is, unfortunately, you do need a territory to do that, / just outside territories to do that, because I believe there is a few systems outside territory like these ones. So there is little clusters where you can mine ISO 1, which is, to be honest, is the biggest bang for your buck when it comes to ISO emotion. You just need these systems out here, the ISO 1s out there, I don't believe there's any others. So you can get ISO 1, but they are going to be very busy, I would imagine, if you don't have a territory. If you have a territory, obviously you can get ISO 3, 2 and 1 all in there. And what they are used for, if you go to refinery, I apologize, this is quite a long video, but there's a lot to talk about when it comes to the territory tree. If you go to the territory tab, so in the territory tab, you got ISO 1, ISO 2, and ISO 3. ISO 3 gives you the least amount back with ISO emotion because it gives you this other stuff with regards to territory stuff. And I'm not going to go into the territory stuff here, but if you want ISO emotion, ISO 1 is the best for it, and it's the most cost effective, as you only need, I believe for my tier, I only need 34,000 to get 2 chests, and then you can come into all this. To get the Meridian, if you do have the Meridian, you'll unlock this tier 2 tab at the end, and you can get 2 chests of ISO using ISO emotion. You can turn it into ISO resin, as well as getting phantom particles, quantum, Sorax, and Metreon particles. You can get all of them guaranteed. Other than the Metreon, that's a chance to get them, but the first 4 are guaranteed. So you'll get 410, 10 of them, 10 of them, and 10 of them for 2 chests, or obviously 3 chests you can work out. I would always recommend going for 2, as it's much cheaper, and going for 3 doesn't add up in terms of the ISO emotion needed. That's what I would personally do. I would always just get the 2 and then just wait the 24 hours or 22 hours or whatever it is to obviously upgrade. But other than that, I hope this video has been incredibly useful for you. I'm just going to recall that ship before it gets blown up. I hope this video has been useful. Please hit that like button if you have found use from this video. If not, then obviously comment why not. It does help me out massively to wonder why you don't like the video so far. Other than that, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye for now.